G'day everyone. Let's talk about time, or more specifically, time zones. That quirky thing about Australia that makes us scratch our heads and reach for another cuppa. You see, Australia's a bloody big country, a fact we Aussies never tire of mentioning. But with great size comes great responsibility, or at least great time zone confusion. Imagine driving from Perth to Brisbane. That's like driving from London to Moscow, crossing 3 different time zones along the way. It's enough to make you want to pack an extra watch or two, just to keep track. From the sun-drenched beaches of Sydney to the rugged outback of Western Australia, time isn't just a concept, it's a constantly shifting landscape. Back in the day, before phones and the internet, time was a local affair. Each town set their clocks based on the sun. Midday was when the sun was highest in the sky. But as transportation and communication improved, things got complicated. Imagine trying to schedule a train journey when every town had its own time. So in the late 19th century, Australia, like the rest of the world, decided to get its time act together. They divided the country into time zones, aligning themselves with the standard time zones based on the Greenwich Meridian. It was a step towards order, a way to keep the trains running on time and the telegrams flowing. Get ready for something cool. Australia covers a huge part of the southern hemisphere. The Earth spins, so the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Simple geography, but it affects our time zones a lot. Picture this. When the sun rises over Sydney's Harbour Bridge, lighting up the Opera House, it's still night in Perth. People are asleep, dreaming of surfing or a good cup of coffee. This east-west difference means that even though we're one country, we experience different times of the day at once. Deciding where to draw the lines between these time zones wasn't just about geography. Politics got involved too, influenced by various agendas. States like Queensland and Western Australia are massive, with the sun rising and setting at different times across the state. Queensland is bigger than many European countries combined. You could fit France, Germany, and Italy inside its borders. Yet it only has one time zone, which doesn't reflect daily life for everyone. This has led to heated arguments. Some feel disconnected from the natural rhythm of the day, while others argue multiple time zones would be too confusing. Section 5, Daylight Saving Drama, the Great Time Zone Debate. And then there's daylight saving, the annual ritual that divides families and sparks outrage at backyard BBQs. You see, not all of Australia is on board with this whole spring-forward, fallback business. In fact, it's a right royal mess. New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia, and the ACT embrace daylight saving during the summer months. But Queensland, Western Australia, and the Northern Territory, they reckon it's all too much bother. So, for a few months each year, Australia is a patchwork of different times. Trying to schedule a phone call or a video conference during this period is like playing a game of time zone roulette. Section 6. Time Zone, Tango, Navigating Life Across Australia. Living with multiple time zones might sound like chaos. From Sydney's bustling offices to Perth's laid-back lifestyle, everyone is trying to keep up. Imagine trying to call your mate in Perth after work. You hesitate, wondering if they're already in bed or still out. By the time you're off in Melbourne, they've tucked the kids into bed and are halfway through a bottle of Shiraz. Yes, time zones can be a pain, adjusting watches, setting reminders, and still feeling out of sync. But they're part of what makes Australia unique. Each region has its own rhythm and pace of life. Section 7. Business blunders and missed calls, the time zone tax. Now, it's not just personal lives that get tangled up in the time zone web. Businesses feel the pinch too, and it's a significant one. Imagine trying to seal a deal with an international client when you're constantly having to calculate time differences. It's a logistical nightmare. The challenge of coordinating meetings across different time zones can be daunting. You might find yourself waking up at odd hours just to catch someone in their office. It's a recipe for missed deadlines and awkward apologies. The frustration of missing a crucial call or email can be overwhelming. And let's not forget about all those missed calls and delayed emails. The constant back and forth can slow down progress significantly. It's like a time zone tax on productivity. Every minute spent calculating time differences is a minute lost in actual work. You send an email, wait for a response, and then realize that the person you're trying to reach is still sound asleep. Talk about frustrating. The waiting game can be exhausting. But hey, we Aussies are a resourceful bunch. We've learned to adapt and overcome these challenges. We've learned to embrace the chaos and find humor in the absurdity of it all. After all, a good laugh can make even the toughest situations more bearable. Section 8. A country divided by time, unity, and confusion. So there you have it. Australia, a land of sunshine, beaches, and a whole lot of time zone confusion. It's a country divided by time, yet united by our ability to laugh at ourselves and our tendency to make light of even the most perplexing situations. We might not always agree on daylight saving, and we might occasionally curse under our breath when trying to schedule a meeting across state lines. But at the end of the day, we wouldn't have it any other way. Because in a country as big and diverse as ours, a little bit of time zone chaos is just part of the adventure. Section 9. So, why bother with time zones? A final thought. You might be wondering, why bother with all these different time zones? Why not just have one time for the whole country? Well, it might seem like a pain, but it's all about working with the sun. Having different time zones means people across this vast land can make the most of daylight hours. It keeps life running smoothly, even if it means we need a cheat sheet to figure out what time it is in Perth. So next time you're struggling to wrap your head around Australian time zones, just remember, it's all part of the unique charm of this sunburnt country.